the first of a scheduled 12 rounds then for the IBF Strawweight Championship.
Round one.
Petelo in the white shorts, the champion. Seen many strawweight contests, Steve?
Yeah, I've seen Ricardo Lopez a lot, the former WBC guy, who's still undefeated. I think he's had 48 fights undefeated. A big Don King fight. I see him a lot in Vegas on Tyson undercards. And he's a class act, a real class act. But he's given up the WBC title. He's going to move up. He's going to go up to 7 stone 10 and 7 stone 7.
Must be eating too much.
Well, yeah, he's about 31 years of age. He weighs about the same as my right leg.
And the referee just stopped things because one of the cushions on the base of the ring just going underneath the ropes, and he doesn't want either boxer to trip.
This guy Petelo is the, since he had that great win down in Thailand when he won the world title from Dutch boy Jim, I think 14, 15 months ago. He's really acknowledged as the best strawweight fighter. I've been desperate to see him, actually.
Dave Parrish just trying for Petelo to keep those punches up. He was working away there to the Filipino's body. And he's got a reach advantage, which he's clearly going to use. Already he's got the Filipino tucking up, but again Dave Parrish just having a word with him about keeping his punches up.
That was low, that one.
And the referee just having a word about low punches by Petelo. We'll have to watch that.
Yeah, Dave's a no-nonsense type of referee. It doesn't really matter how big a star you are or what weight you are. If he wants to penalise you, or God forbid chuck you out, he will.
That left from Petelo looks the damaging punch, looks the one which is going to do the damage on the Filipino. To the end of round one. Good start then for the champion, Zolani Petelo from Port Elizabeth in South Africa. Looking totally unmarked. Looking nice and confident.
I like some of those shots a lot. I mean, one or two did wander low, but that's understandable. I mean, look at those stats. 14-2. Fair assessment, I would say.
Absolutely. There's Petelo listening to his corner, taking advice on board all the time. Round two then, scheduled for 12 rounds, this IBF Strawweight Championship of the world. And a good first round for Petelo, the champion, in the white shorts.
Looks about 5'9", doesn't he? He does. Is it 5'8", 5'9", 5'10",
Something like that.
I mean, that's exceptional. I mean, you think Nassim Hamed's about 5'4", 2.5 stone heavier. And Ricardo Lopez, the great Mexican at strawweight, he's about 5'4" as well.
Working well behind that right jab, Petelo. The corner have clearly told him in this round to work behind that jab. That's southpaw right.
You know, there's something about a lot of South African fighters. They all come from this area, East London, the same area that Nelson Mandela came from, the same place where Nelson Mandela started the Fox. And there's one interesting thing about them, and I've noticed this with a lot of them, is they've all got the styles of the old Americans. Guys like Ike Williams from the 50s, Joe Old Bones Brown from the 60s. There's something about them, they've got this style. It's a great style. They're fantastic to watch. They really, all of them look the same. They're absolutely beautiful to watch. They're technicians, they throw good shots, they're exciting, and they all move so fluidly. Just watch this guy's feet, not his hands for 2 or 3 minutes. They're perfect.
Prepared to go in now and mix it at close range as well. Whether his corner will be too happy about that, I'm not sure, because Rubillar is in where he wants to be. Wasn't a punch, it was a slip, and that's all from Petelo, and the bell ends, or bell rings, I should say, for the end of round 2. So there's Petelo, 2 phases to that second round. Started off jabbing away nicely, finished off working at close quarters and got caught a couple of times.
Yeah, he did get caught in close, actually, didn't he? It looks to me that some of the shots he was touching Rubillar with round the stomach, they didn't look like proper shots. I mean, obviously they were proper punches, but it looked like he was setting him up for something. If you look, if we can see it a little bit in the replay, he's covering up there. He hasn't taken a clean shot there. I mean, the jab's a fantastic shot. But some of those body shots, he's not turning his full body into those. I mean, of course they're landing, but they're not out-and-out punches.
There's the slip right at the end of the round, you see, not connecting. So round 3 then of the IBF Strawweight Championship of the World. Zolani Petelo in the white shorts against the challenger Juanito Rubillar from the Philippines. This the 4th defense for Petelo. Good rights by the Filipino. Just made Petelo blink a little bit and think a little bit as well.
In the right fight, Filipino. Rubillar getting close, getting as close as he can. He knows he's going to get picked off at distance. needs to get close. There's just something cold and calculating though about the way Petelo's just taking those punches. It's almost like he's at half gear, waiting for something. Perhaps it's opening up, I don't know.
It is a strange strategy because he's not moving around. Perhaps he wants to try to dictate the fight from the centre of the ring, but he's not using his reach to his advantage. It's good work, and that was a good left as well by the Filipino Rubillar. Petelo getting behind the jab, but Rubillar coming in, trying to work to the body as well as to the head. Good work by the Filipino right at the end of round 3. Well, Zolani Petelo had it all his own way in rounds 1 and 2, but not quite the same in that particular round, Steve.
No, not at all. He allowed himself to get too close, and that obviously sorted Juanito Rubillar. You know, that's the type of fight Rubillar looks like he fights. Getting close, throwing pressure shots. Doesn't matter if they're not landing, they're landing on the gloves. But more than that, you're stopping the other guy working. And that's got to be Rubillar's strategy. Whether he could keep that up for the next 9 rounds, I don't know. If he could, we could have an interesting fight by around... Oh, they're good shots, aren't they?
Yes, good shots. And Rubillar keeping his forearms down, his elbows tucked in, so he's not making it easy for Petelo to land those body punches. Fourth round then. Zolani Petelo from South Africa won the first 2, much closer in the third, with Rubillar having his best round so far. Scheduled for 12. Petelo started his career brilliantly, unbeaten in his first 11 contacts. He then boxed for the South African title. He was stopped in the 10th round by a more experienced boxer, Lindy Mamani.
Mamani's a former WBO strawweight champion, and I think he's the current WBU strawweight champion, so he is, you know, he's a good quality fighter.
That may be why John Robinson from the WBU is over on the far side of the ring.
Yeah, he'll be looking for some kind of unification fight. There's some very good champions at WBU, some excellent champions, and a lot of them are from South Africa.
Petelo trying to bring Rubillar's guard down to work to the head with his right. That was a good left there and a good right. Good work this by Rubillar, and he's got Petelo in trouble in that far corner. Petelo's got himself together again and fighting back, but they were good punches by the Filipino, and now Petelo fighting back. We can certainly say is that the champion takes a good punch.
You can say that it would be an incredible upset if Petelo were to lose here, because he's being groomed to clean up, you know, in all of the under 8 stone weight divisions. And he's not having it all his own way here at all, is he?
It's a little bit low, and Dave Paris, in fact, warned the Filipino there. The end of round 4, and a very good round indeed for Juanito Rubillar. Well, that was perhaps the best round so far by either fighter.
What was interesting there is that they weren't just short shots. What actually happened there was that clearly Rubillar hurt Petelo, went backwards, and then Rubillar set about him with some fantastic shots. The triple combination in the far corner was superb, and it was accurate. Here's the heel. That's it. It's a long shot again. It's not a short shot. He's determined. He knows. Oh, good shots. I think that was where he was hurt. He's covering up, but he's not doing anything in reply. I think that was when he'd been stunned by the long left.
So round 5, a good start by Zolani Petelo, but in the last 2 rounds, Juanito Rubillar, the challenger, has come back well and certainly given the South African plenty to think about. Rubillar, who is the WBC international title holder, that's for boxers outside the top 10. He won that in April when he stopped Rocky Palmer in 4 rounds. That was a good win for the Filipino. Good contest. It's a shame in a lot of ways, isn't it? All the ballyhoo and indeed all the money is for the heavyweights, but when you watch contests of this level and this quality, you wonder why, really.
Well, it's a real shame because it's easy to predict that a contest like this will be quality. You've got 2 guys, both of whom between them have fought, you know, maybe a dozen former world champions or current world champions. So you know you're in for a quality evening, not 2 guys who are going to fall over. But as you say, it's just hard sometimes to attract the public's attention to really what else is out there. It's not just Lennox Lewis and Nassim Hamed. It's guys like these 2 here. This is a quality contest. A lot better than Nassim Hamed's last contest, I can assure you.
That was a wrestling match, wasn't it? Not a boxing match.
It was a bad wrestling match as well.
This for the IBF Strawweight Championship of the World. Both these boxers under 7 stone, 7 pounds in weight. Good right from Rubillar. Very much a lean forward boxer as he jabs forward, Petelo, but really should be keeping this a long distance because Rubillar, as you can see, is dangerous when he's allowed to be.
He does lean forward, but generally that chin's so tightly tucked into that right shoulder.
End of round 5. To those, Juanito Rubillar, only 22 years of age, 2 years younger than his opponent. He was unbeaten in his first 14 contests. Good work there by the Filipino. Doubling up his punches, trebling up his punches.
What's more, it looks like the Filipinos are slightly more relaxed now. It looks like Rubillar's not as in awe as he appeared in those first 2 rounds, when it looked like he was in danger of being taken apart, to be brutally honest. He doesn't look at all happy, Petelo. First 2 rounds, lovely calm look on his face, almost beats everything. You see him now, it's a bit strained, it's a bit strained as well.
Yes, he does. A little bit of puffiness around the eyes as well. Plenty of water thrown on as he comes out, Petelo, for round 6. Good work by Rubillar. He was caught there with a sharp right. Not got a great KO record, Rubillar. He's only stopped his opponent 3 times in his 16 wins.
What's odd is but he punches like a knockout artist. You know, the way he lets the punches go and the way he looks, he stands around afterwards as though the opponents are about to fall. And yet, his record suggests he's not a banger at all. It's quite odd, isn't it?
Better by Petelo. Nice combinations. Petelo boxing better than it's run. He just looks as though he's got into a little bit of a rhythm here, Petelo, from the middle of that round. Although having said that, Rubillar comes back at it.
Petelo's jab is the dominating factor here. When he had that run there for about 40 or 50 seconds, started by jabs, kept going by jabs. And what's so interesting about Petelo's jab is because he's got that sort of odd stance where his right shoulder's down, the jab comes up. So actually, it's harder to defend against than a jab that comes straight out. And that's what makes him look like those great black fighters from America in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Sugar Ray Robinson had that jab. Ike Williams had that jab. It's a beautiful shot, and it's hard to defend against.
Tucked up well to the body. Trying to come through. That was a good left from Rubillar. Well taken by Petelo. Good right to the body and another good right to the body by the Filipino. And a good finish to the round. And not for the first time at the end of the round. The Filipino getting a little bit carried away and getting a ticking off from Dave Paris. So there he is, Juanito Rubillar. Certainly came into this fight as a pretty firm second favourite, but he's making a very, very good showing indeed here.
Well, I think after 6 rounds he's there or thereabouts. I'm not sure he's winning, but he's only losing by a round. What's interesting here, considering this is the IBF and considering this is the year of bad decisions and odd decisions, is that there's an official from England at ringside, an official from America at ringside, and an official from South Africa. And Christodoulou. I find that a little bit tricky.
Where's the Filipino?
You know, not only where's the Filipino, but Christodoulou, remember, was the judge who got it right in the first Lennox Lewis Evander Holyfield fight. But I must admit, I'd be a little bit concerned if I was a Filipino here tonight.
Well, it's going to be a difficult one to call if it goes on like this, that's for sure, Steve, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I've got Petelo up here, but that's only because I'm scoring. I always try and score for the champion. So, and I believe, after watching boxing for so many years, that's how the judges score it. The champion is the winner unless the challenger really wins.
So the 7th round, Good start by Petelo, but Rubillar has come back well in the latter rounds. Minutes of the round left. Round 7 scheduled for 12. IBF Championship contest at 7 stone 7 pounds. Good exchanges from both boxers. Good work by Rubillar. Kept his gloves up there nicely as well. Took a lot of those punches from Petelo on his gloves.
I'm surprised Petelo hasn't gone to the body a little bit more. In the first couple of rounds, he got warmed several times by Dave Parrish with body shots, but he also seemed to hurt Rubillar with body shots, and yet since the end of round 2, and we're now in nearly the end of round 7, he hasn't used the body at all, hasn't gone to the body at all.
Rubillar's kept tucked up whenever he's tried to work down there.
There's not a lot for either of them to hit, is there? I mean, defensively, this is a beautiful fight to watch, isn't it?
It's an excellent contest. And worthy of a world championship, no matter which particular governing body is involved.
Even if it's one that currently the FBI are investigating.
Blood coming now from the South African's nose as well at the end of round 7. There we are. That won't trouble him too much, I don't suppose, although I once remember when I was speaking to Harold Graham, he was talking to him, and I was talking to him about a finish to a fight, Steve, and he said, I was watching his breathing, he was bleeding from the nose, I was watching his breathing, and I hit him just when he was breathing out, so that his nose was going to be blocked, and he said, that's how I took him. It just shows you the sort of mental ability that these boxers have got at the top level.
And good shots. Good. I mean, that was a quality combination. He's in close, Rubillar, he's up against one of the best strawweights in the world, and he's picking 4 and 5 shots. Look at that, I think, is a fair reflection of that round. I gave that round just to Petelo, just.
So the 8th round, the South African a little bit slow out of his corner now, and certainly not looking as confident as he did after the first 2. He's in a good fight here, and this is going to be very close. And by the way he started this round, he knows it and his corner knows it. Good punches from both boxers. Left then of the 8th round. this from the South African so far. He's offloading nicely and tucking up well. Not giving Rubillar a good time. Good stiff right as well to the head of Rubillar.
Came out from the start with a little bit more purpose, didn't he? I think they told him, look, you know, you might be in front, but you're not winning this fight. You're not dominating this fight. Get out there and re-establish yourself. That seems to be what he's determined to do.
Good right as well there from Rubillar, which sent the South African's head back just a little bit. Will stop the bleeding from Petelo's nose, though. Good work from the Filipino, coming in with hard punches. That's better work from Petelo. Work to the body and the head, though, by the Filipino. Nice boxing. Right at the end of the round by Petelo to catch the judge's eye. So the end of another round, and that one very close indeed. But the best round for Petelo for a little time, I think, here, Steve.
Yeah, his clearest round, really, since the second. I've given him one or two of the others, but as I said, because I tend to favour the champion in rounds that are close. But that was a marked improvement on the previous 3 or 4 rounds.
Still working in the corner there to make sure none of that blood seeps down, but as you can see, looking a little bit puffy, Petelo, around the eyes and around the nose, as he might. Also, as Rodney Berman, the promoter of golden gloves in South Africa, golden fists over here in this country. The man in the middle there with the grey hair.
And he's also the man that has a very bright future painted out for Petelo. And he might be sitting there now trying to think, well, hold on a minute, maybe I need to slow down fight by fight, because he's got 3 or 4 fights planned for him already. And that's why you should never do that in this business.
So right now then, scheduled for 12. It's been a very interesting contest. Petelo started very well indeed. But Juanito Rubillar from the Philippines has come back well, and it's a close contest, a difficult one to separate the two fighters. But perhaps, just on the number of punches shown, Petelo might be in front.
I'd have Petelo in front, but the problem here, as I said earlier on, and I did it slightly in jest, but I think we maybe need to look at it a little bit more seriously, is there's an American judge, an English judge, and there's a South African judge. Now, in the year of some tricky and curious shenanigans at ringsides, various ringsides around the world, I find that quite odd. In fact, I find that very bizarre. And I hope we don't have a controversy on our hands in Peterborough.
Well, by the look of it at the moment, it looks as though it's going to go to the judges. Petelo wanting to get involved in a bit of a war here. Whether that's altogether advisable, I'm not sure.
work from Petelo there off his back foot, going backwards defensively and scoring with 3 or 4 very, very neat shots.
Good workmanlike round this from Petelo, and again Dave Harris having to use some round 10.
It is a class act then, isn't it?
So 3 rounds to go then in this contest. Petelo starting well, Rubillar coming back, but in the last couple of rounds Petelo working away from his jab, and Rubillar has now got to try to come in these last 3 rounds and take the fight to the South African and take the judge's eye. This title for Petelo after being put in against one of Don King's boxers. He just signed him on a 5-year contract, but Petelo coming in at a little bit of a make weight, won it in the 4th round, so that was a big upset. That will have upset Don King's apple cart.
That didn't upset Don King as much as the fact that throughout the night Don King himself and sent many of his emissaries to Petelo's room, and Petelo would not leave the room and was on the phone to Rodney Berman, who was on holiday at the time, back in South Africa, saying, Rodney, this guy's driving me mad. He's outside the room. He wants me to sign a contract. And Rodney from his deck chair said, don't sign it, don't sign it. Stay with me, stay with me. Needless to say, when he arrived back in Johannesburg, a new deal was done.
I can believe it. And now Petelo coming forward, sending the Filipino back almost for the first time in this contest. Almost the first time he's taken a backward step, Rubillar. Good work to the body again by Petelo. It's a little bit low, that by the Filipino. Dave Harris, the referee, having a close look at these punches. A good fight back by Rubillar. Working his way off the ropes beautifully. Petelo, good punches by the South African now. Hurtful punches in this 10th round.
Strange thing, Graham. I was looking over there in Rubillar's corner. Here's their fighter, poised, possibly about to pull off an upset. They barely changed their faces. I mean, they're the ultimate stoic cornermen. Look at the pair of them.
Good end to the round there by Rubillar, the IBF Strawweight Championship of the world. It's been an intriguing battle from start to finish. Very little between the two of them, but Zolani Petelo, after starting well, having a little bit of a shaky patch in the middle of the fight, has come back in the last 3 or 4 rounds and beginning to get his rhythm going again, beginning to dominate as he did in the first 2. But Rubillar not out of it, and certainly the South African looking a little bit the worse for wear around his eyes.
You have to wonder at about 5'8", 5'9", or 5'10", or whatever he is, if we ever get the true measurement, you have to wonder how hard it is for him to make 7 stone 7. And if that's the case, then perhaps, you know, maybe he has a weight problem.
He's not shown any great signs of tiredness, though. Doesn't look as though he's going to run out of steam.
He's not, but he's also not shown any signs of stepping it up, apart from that 1 round in about the 8th when he came out a lot faster. I actually was expecting him to increase the pace as the rounds went. He had a good first, a great second, and then, you know, really 3 or 4 very mediocre rounds where he allowed the other guy, Rubillar, to get far too close. I was expecting a little bit more. In fact, I was expecting a little bit more dynamic, to be perfectly honest with you. Looks like his right eye is very swollen, Petelo's. That may have been from a clash of heads. It's that type of bulge.
Petelo going back, making sure he stays out of range. He was caught on that front then as well by one from Rubillar, but Rubillar has to take 2 or 3 punches in return. Good work by Petelo. Good work by Rubillar, putting the South African under pressure here. Well, this is no easy defence by any stretch of the imagination for Zolani Petelo. Petelo jabbing out, but not scoring punches. Happy, I think, to keep the Filipino at bay. At the end of round 11.
Stop countering.
The final round, then, of this IBF Strawweight Championship. The fans have enjoyed it, between the champions Zolani Petelo and Juanito Rubillar. Petelo from South Africa, Rubillar from the Philippines. It's got to be all-out effort now from the Filipino to try and land the punch which will win this one. He's got to be behind on points, and he's going for it. Strawweight division, they also call it mini flyweight. Good work by Rubillar. This division very strong around the Far East, and I wonder if this Filipino can really shock everybody here in this final round, or whether Petelo is going to box his way to victory. But Rubillar's giving it everything, and he still looks very strong indeed, not breathing at all hardly, the Filipino. Good left and a good right from Rubillar.
Rubillar finishes a little flourish. Suddenly, you see Petelo take a deep breath, and he goes right uppercut, left cross, right hook, and moves off. He's been doing that throughout. I mean, he's actually a deceptive scorer here, because some of the rounds that looked like he possibly lost them, he actually landed a telling blow, as you said at the end of that last round, of those 7 or 8 punches that Rubillar looked like he connected with, none of them actually did connect. Whereas Petelo is, you know, he's a bit of an accurate king, isn't he?
Just a little bit of a movement to the head by Petelo, and he's out of the way. But Rubillar giving everything in this final round. He's got to, and Petelo looks as though he might be just in a little bit of trouble in that corner. Big effort in the end from Rubillar. They're animated over in the South African's corner. Rodney Berman on the far side of the ring is looking anxious. But Petelo is going to hang on for victory. Good finish by Rubillar. There we are, the end of the fight. Arms raised by Zolani Petelo. Juanito Rubillar, I think, as you were saying, Steve, right at the end of the fight, thinks to himself, if I would have given that more in the 3 rounds leading up to the final one, I might have won that, because he looked to have most left in his engine.
Absolutely. I mean, he'll go back and look at himself in the mirror. You know, he's lost in a good effort against a good fighter. I doubt he'll get a rematch. Let's put it that way. I doubt he'll get a rematch. And he'll say, and I'm sure he'll be thinking to himself tonight somewhere in Peterborough, oh, I think I should have given it some more there. I've got plenty left.
Absolutely, but Petelo thinks he's won the contest. It's now down to the 3 judges, Roy Francis from Great Britain, Hilton Whittaker from the United States, and Stan Christodoulou from South Africa to score this one. There's some action from that final round. Big effort from Rubillar.
I think this is Rubillar's last stand, moving over to that final corner where he lets go, you know, maybe a 30, 25 or 30 punch combination. But, you know, he does block a lot of them. He is deceptive.
Going backwards there, Petelo, just for not too many times in the contest. And working away with that cold iron in the corner, trying to smooth the bumps out, get the blood away. So, we're waiting for the final decision here at ringside. Dave Parris calls the 2 boxers to the middle, and the MC is Simon Goodall, about to give us the result of this contest.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecard, where we have a unanimous decision. Judge Stan Christodoulou scored 115 to 114. Judge Roy Francis scored the contest 118 to 112. And Judge Hilton Whittaker scored it 118 to 110. All 3 judges in favour of the winner, and still at the IBF Strawweight champion of the world, from South Africa, Zolani Petelo.
So Petelo remains the champion. All 3 judges voted in his favour. Won by just a round, which was very, very close indeed. 118, 112 by the British judge Roy Francis, and the other judge from the USA, Hilton Whittaker, making it 118, 110. Steve Bunce.
But then the South African judge, Stan Christodoulou, you almost find he was bending over backwards to compensate for home advantage and scoring it by only 1 round. And I have to tell you, I don't think that was a 1-round fight. There were 6 or 7 rounds in the middle there where it was hard and it was close. But, you know, I'd have to go with Petelo on all of those. My actual score was 117, 117-19. So,
yeah, it was interesting. Anyway, Petelo retains his championship, but he won't want too many more of them. And Juanito Rubillar, the little challenger from the Philippines, really did a very good job indeed, and it was very close indeed to victory.